It didn't begin with a dramatic moment. No slammed doors or tearful confessions. It started with small changes, the kind that slide by unnoticed, subtle enough to dismiss, until they quietly build into something too big to ignore. My wife, who had always been casual about her phone, leaving it face up on the kitchen counter, unattended on the couch, suddenly became unusually guarded. She started carrying it with her everywhere. Into the bathroom. Out to the garage. Even just to check the mail. I'd walk past while she was texting and she'd tilt the screen away or quickly lock it, like she was guarding nuclear codes instead of sending grocery lists. First, I didn't think much of it. We'd been married for over 10 years. With 2 kids, full-time jobs, and the general chaos of everyday life, I chalked it up to routine stress or a need for privacy. I figured it was a phase, something we'd push through like we always had. But the phone was only the beginning. She began pulling away emotionally. Conversations grew shorter, her responses more clipped. She became irritable, easily annoyed, even when I tried to connect. And then came the nights at her mom's. She started spending more and more time there, always with a reason. Her mom needed help organizing the basement, had a plumbing issue, wanted company because she was lonely. Her mom lived just a few miles away, and there was no health crisis or urgent need. Still, those overnights became a pattern, predictable and suspicious. We stopped being intimate. No touching, no effort. Just nothing. I brought it up gently at first. She said she was tired. That work was draining her. That she just needed space. So I gave her space. But the distance only grew. Eventually, I asked her directly if something was wrong. She looked at me like I'd just accused her of a crime, a mix of annoyance and pity. "You're overthinking," she said. "It's not a big deal. I just feel disconnected." She made me feel like I was the one losing touch with reality. Like I was the insecure one. And then one night she sat me down at the kitchen table. Casually. Like she was talking about weekend plans. She said she didn't think our marriage was working anymore. She wanted a separation. Said she didn't hate me, that she still respected me, but that the connection was gone. "We should do this peacefully," she said. "For the kids." I nodded. I even agreed. On the surface I stayed calm. But deep down something in my gut twisted. None of it felt right. I didn't believe this was just about disconnection. It felt too calculated. So I started looking deeper. I spoke to close friends and family, hoping maybe someone else had noticed something. Most were shocked. To the outside world, our marriage seemed solid. 2 kids, a house, good jobs, no major issues. But one friend, a lawyer, told me something I couldn't shake. People don't walk away from a comfortable marriage unless they think they've got something better lined up. That line haunted me. I started researching. Quietly. South Carolina law, where we live, still takes fault-based divorces seriously. Adultery can bar a spouse from receiving alimony. It can even let you bypass the mandatory 1-year separation period. I wasn't ready to hire a private investigator yet, but I knew I could review our shared phone records. So I logged into our account. That's when I found it. One number, unfamiliar, had been showing up constantly over the past year. Text messages, morning to night, every day. Hundreds, thousands. I ran it through a reverse lookup. Within minutes, I had a name, an address, and links to social media profiles. He was married. 2 kids. Just days earlier, he'd posted a family photo, smiling with his wife and children, while he was sleeping with mine behind their backs. Suddenly everything made sense. Phone. Distance. The overnights at her mom's. The random push for separation. She wasn't confused. She wasn't overwhelmed. She was having an affair and preparing her exit. I ordered a GPS tracker. Few days later it arrived. I synced it to my phone and waited for an opportunity. That week, she called around 6 p.m. to say she had to work late. Something about prepping a file for a client meeting. Said she'd be about 3 hours. I told her that was fine. 10 minutes later I opened the app. She'd left her office. She drove straight to his house and stayed there until after 9 p.m. Then she came home like nothing had happened. I said nothing. But I took screenshots. I documented timestamps. I began saving phone records, emails, even a health insurance notification showing she'd been screened for STDs earlier that year. She wasn't unsure. She wasn't trying to figure things out. She had already moved on. She just hadn't told me yet. The next morning I hired a divorce attorney. A sharp, meticulous professional with a reputation for going to battle when necessary. We started building a case. She thought I was still in the dark. Still the clueless husband waiting on the sidelines. But I had time and I used it. A few weeks later, I served her with divorce papers. She moved out soon after. Kept things civil. No yelling. No accusations. I focused on our kids, my work, and quietly reorganized our finances. I rerouted mail, closed joint accounts, and clarified that I wanted 50-50 custody. No games, no drama. She played the role of the reasonable ex-com. Unbothered. In control. Then, 5 months into our separation, her lawyer made a demand. Alimony. That was my moment. My attorney dropped everything on the table. Phone records, GPS logs, photos, and proof of her STD screening. All of it time-stamped and documented. The mood shifted immediately. Her lawyer asked for a break. When they returned, everything had changed. She no longer wanted alimony. Suddenly, she just wanted to finalize things amicably. We're not done yet, but the power has shifted. For months, she'd tried to control the narrative, painting herself as the calm, rational woman who simply needed to find herself. But the truth had surfaced, and in a state like ours, it mattered. I offered a clean deal. She keeps her retirement, I keep mine. She gets her car, I keep the house. We share custody. No support payments either way. She hasn't signed yet, but she will. Because she knows the alternative is public, messy, and potentially humiliating. I never wanted to win a war. I just wanted freedom. And now I'm closer than ever. It's been about 7 months since this all began unraveling. The final paperwork is nearly done. We're just finalizing custody and a few minor asset divisions. We barely speak, other than kid-related logistics. Last I heard, she's still with him, or pretending to be. His wife left him. But that's not my problem anymore. The pain is gone. What's left is clarity. Focus. I've been rebuilding. Reconnecting with friends. Taking care of my mental and physical health. The kids are happier. The tension at home is gone. Can sleep again. I no longer dread walking through my front door. At our last mediation, she looked different. Not physically, but emotionally. Shaken. And moored. She asked, almost casually, if I thought we might be friends again someday. I didn't answer. Not because I'm bitter. Not because I'm angry. But because I'm done. We finalized the divorce last week. She signed the agreement without a word. 50-50 custody. No alimony. Each of us keeping what we came in with, and what we agreed to walk away with. I didn't celebrate. I just sat with it. 10 years of my life, closed with a signature. But I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time, peace. Not because I won, but because I stopped living in a house full of lies. I stopped chasing a ghost of a marriage long since abandoned. And if I've learned anything from this, it's that the truth has a way of surfacing. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. And once you accept it, you can finally move forward. That's what I'm doing now. She's juggling a new life. Trying to patch things together. But that's her circus. Her monkeys. I've got my freedom. And for the first time in a long time, that's enough.